السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعزائي وعزيزاتي أصدقاء وأعضاء جمعية القباب الفلكية العربية والمهتمين بهذه الجمعية وبالقباب الفلكية عموما، نحن على وعدنا دائما نقدم الجديد لهذه الجمعية، محتوى جديد، أفكار جديدة وحلول جديدة، وأيضا أفكار حول كيفية تشغيل القباب الفلكية، كيفية صيانتها، كيفية إحلال نظم جديدة فيها دائما ومواكبة لعروضها وكيفية إنشاء عروضها. ونحن صحيح الجمعية حديثة الولادة وعمرها لم تكمل إلا 10 شهور حتى الآن، إلا أننا تمكنا حتى الآن من جذب جمهور خاص. جمهورنا في الحقيقة هم أناس لديهم قباب فلكية، يعملون في القباب الفلكية، وأصدقاء أيضا ويعرفون أهمية القباب الفلكية في العالم وفي الوطن العربي. اليوم سوف نستضيف أحد الخبراء في القباب الفلكية في البلانيتاريومز، وهو ضليع في عمل وتشغيل القباب الفلكية، وهو مستر Kyle or Kyle. Welcome, Kyle. How are you?
I'm well. I'm very well. Thank you so much.
I know it is very early morning in America now, West America. So it is 12 hours away from us from here, Sharjah. Thank you for being with us and awake too early for you. And I hope you'll enjoy talking to our friends in the APS, the Arab Planetarium Society. خلوني before that, I just would like to introduce you in English or maybe in Arabic. So Kyle actually shares a cosmic perspective across culture boundaries. He believes that a planetarium is a powerful tool for exploring science, art, and culture as we strive to understand our place in the cosmos. The more we connect, what he always says, the more we connect with our audience as planetarians, the more impact and inspiration our work has on their lives. So he believes in that, which is a good start maybe for today's presentation. Kyle has worked in the planetarium world for 20 years and is currently employed by Digitalis Education Solution, which is a huge company that actually provides solutions for planetariums. فإذا أخونا كايل، أو زي ما بحب يسمي نفسه كايو, and now he will tell us how to pronounce his name. So هو بيآمن بأنه بتخطي الثقافات ورؤية الكون من منظور مختلف من الكالتشرز، نتخطى الكالتشرز. وأيضا يؤمن بأنه القباب الفلكية قد ما بنشتغل فيها، القباب الفلكية مهمة جدا، وتقديم المزيد للناس تقريبا سوف نراه في حياتهم، تأثير ذلك في حياتهم. وهذا ما تعملونه أنتم في الحقيقة أعزائي أصدقاء وأعضاء جمعية القباب الفلكية. كل يوم في قبتكم فلكية، في كل يوم عندما يزوركم أناس في القبة الفلكية، أعتقد هذا ما تشعرون به فعلا. كايل يعمل في شركة ديجيتاليس، وهذه شركة معروفة عالميا في تقديم الحلول الفلكية. قبل أن يبدأ كايل بمحاضرته، أيضا سيكون معنا في الترجمة إن احتجنا. سوف يتكلم بلغة بسيطة كايل، على فكرة ثقوا بأن لغته خفيفة ما فيها الدسم الإنجليزي القوي، بالتالي تكون مفهوم إن شاء الله الجميع. أعلم أن هناك حضراتكم من يتقن اللغة وهناك من هو متوسط في ذلك، لكن في حال شعرنا أن هناك ضرورة للترجمة، سيقوم زميلي أحمد، وهو معنا في تيم بلانتيريوم في الشارقة، ومعي زميل أيضا حلمي من ASC، شركة تقنيات في قباب فلكية في عمان، وهو معه شراكة مع ديجيتاليس، وهذا جيد أيضا. نفتخر بهذه الشراكة ما بينهما، لأن نريد أن نقدم أيضا شركات عربية تقدم حلول برفقة وبشراكة شركات عالمية كبرى. ما يقوي القبة الفلكية في الوطن العربي وجود شراكات عربية تؤسس لها وتقدم الحلول، وإن كانت هذه الحلول هي أجنبية، لكن نريد أن تعزز بمقدرة عربية في الصيانة وفي المتابعة والتقديم الحل وباللغة العربية. فمستر كايل, my friend, please, now the mic with you. Please tell us something about how to let's go to the title again, the value of life and interactive education in our planetarium. How can that be possible in our planetarium in simple words and more simulations? Please, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I am very honored to be invited to speak with you. If you would like to contact me later, my email is here. I also am going to put a link here to the live interactive planetarium symposium. This is a group of people who get together and talk about how to do live shows. For the presentation today, if you have any questions, please put them into the chat. That can be in English or Arabic, and Hilmi or Marwan will interrupt me and ask your question. So thank you so much. Right now, I'm going to do a brief introduction about Digitalis, and then we're going to talk about value, why we choose to work in a planetarium, what is valuable to you. And then we'll show some interactive, some ways to do live interactive. I'll give some examples, and then we'll chat in a little bit. Briefly about Digitalis. We make planetariums. We partner with you to design a planetarium. Our ATHOS systems can be any size, and we can work to put the software to integrate it with your system. We create our own software called Nightshade. It's easy to script, it's easy to use for interactive shows, and has a built-in media player. I'm actually using that right now. Normally, you drive it with an iPad, so you can be anywhere in your dome. You can walk around. When I presented in this large planetarium, I was able to walk down and be with the people. So let me show you our browser here. It's very easy to show movies as well. If we wanted to show a movie, we simply click on the movie and put it in, and the movie will play. You have control of the volume, and you can skip ahead to different parts in the movie if you wish. You can also put in your own images. So this is one from my trip to Petra, and we can look around and see the details.
Petra, Jordan?
Yes, this was in Petra, Jordan. Yes, yes. You know, I'm having my tea, having my chai. That's my lovely wife. But the point is, you can put in your own photos, your own video. You don't have to just be limited to videos that you purchase. You can even put in your own 360 spherical video. So this is one that I recorded. Let me change the view here a little bit. So I'm changing where we're looking. So you can use your planetarium to do far more than just looking at the stars. And you can create your own content. Okay, I'll come back here to our presentation here. Just a couple more things about Digitalis. We not only make large-scale planetariums, but we also make portable systems that you can use either in small domes or actually inflatable planetariums. We make our own line of inflatable domes, and they are very easy to use. They roll up into a custom-built bag, and you can transport them easily. We also make a product called the Skybox, and that's what I'm using right now. This is a way that you can teach without a planetarium. So I'll show you. Earlier, there were questions about how I'm doing this. I'm going to show this a little bit here. I'm just in my office. I have some green paper taped on the wall behind me to make a green screen, a camera aimed at me, and I connect this with some free software called OBS. And I see some people are, oh, that's Marwan explaining some things, okay, in the chat. So I wanted to do a brief introduction because Digitalis is sponsoring my time. If you're interested in a planetarium, you can contact me later. The rest of this is going to be how to do live planetariums. So I first have a question for you. And please write this into the chat and I'll be interested. Everybody understands, great, okay. I'm so glad that your English is far better than my Arabic. I only know how to say peace on you and thank you. I really need to learn more. So when I come to visit, inshallah, I will, maybe you could teach me more. Why do you choose to be in a planetarium? Why do you work in a planetarium? What value is this to you? What I would like is if you can think of 1 or 2 words, type them into the chat and tell me why a planetarium is important to you. And I'll talk a little bit about myself. I value, actually, I'll start here. I mentioned my son made this cup. When I was a young father 20 years ago, I realized how little I knew about the universe. And I wanted to be a better father. I wanted to teach my son. So I had to learn. I was a commercial crab fisherman. I literally did not know that the sun was a star. So I started volunteering in a science museum, and I learned everything that I know through teaching. So teaching is very important to me. As I've gotten older, I've had a chance to travel, and I realize how when you look back at our planet, there are no borders. we all share the same little blue dot in space. And I truly believe that a planetarium is a way that we can help people understand our place in the universe. So I'm going to fly back here closer to the Earth, and I'm going to look at the chat here and see what are some things that you have said that you value. So acting, yes. As somebody who works at a planetarium, I say we have many hats. In addition to understanding the science, we have to communicate, find a way to share what we know with the audience. So acting is important. And I'm a teacher, but the planetarium is a great tool to see what we can't see with light pollution. Excellent, yes. Most people, most modern life, people are spending in a city. So I'm actually going to take you to one of the cities in the US that I used to live in. This is in Dallas, Texas. And many people live in large urban areas now. So when we have a sunset, I'm going to speed up time. At nighttime, this is what we see. We see the light that human beings have created. And as beautiful as this might be, we've lost the ability to look up and see our place in the universe. Now, if in a planetarium, we could magically get rid of the light pollution, then we can show people the majesty of where we live, where we experience the cosmos by looking up. So yes, a planetarium is a great tool for that. I love kids, I love to entertain, and I love to inspire and be inspired. You know, people learn by playing. Even animals do this. You watch how anybody learns. Being able to inspire, being able to fly away from the Earth and look back at our planet can be entertaining, but also life-changing. If you want to master something, teach it. Exactly right. I admitted that I was ignorant. I knew very little. I was a commercial crab fisherman. And how I learned was, well, my first job in a planetarium. I learned how to speak with the audience and listen to their questions. And what started to happen is the same people would come back week after week. They might ask a question and I would say, I don't know, but I'll find out. And they'll come back and we discuss. And I ended up learning from them as they were learning from me. So it's a two-way conversation. It is how we can have a space voyage. Yes, you can take your audience anywhere that you'd like to go. Where would you like to go? Basma, what's a planet you'd like to go visit?
Oh, a planet? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe Vega. No, Vega as a star. Saturn.
Saturn, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's nice about being able to interact with your audience is maybe there's somebody who really loves a certain planet. You can show what they would look like through a telescope. So we'll show Saturn through a telescope, or we can even fly there. As we leave the Earth, I'll put some references up so that we can see. And I'll also look at this other, under the sky, we forget all of our differences and remember our origin, which is the same for all of us. For me, the value is recognizing the importance of unity and protecting our home. That is very well said. So before we fly to Saturn, I'm going to put on just the body orbit of the moon. This is as far out as human beings physically have gone. We're going to fly out a little bit farther and show the orbit of the Earth in our solar system. Our solar system has many other objects in it. Oh, I forgot, I have this in English. I actually can change the language. You can change it to French, or we've got about 40 different languages. I'll put Arabic on here. Our perspective changes as we get farther away. So we're going to fly to Saturn. And there was a famous mission to Saturn, the Cassini probe. And what Cassini did is took a photo of the Earth from Saturn. Did all of you hear about that one? It was called The Day the Earth Smiled.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do you remember that? So there was a time where the Earth was visible far enough away from the sun that if you had a powerful telescope out there, you could see the Earth. So there was one day where everyone was supposed to go outside on the Earth and wave at the Cassini probe. And of course, there's no way we could take a photo that would show people. It's just the entire Earth is a little tiny blue dot at this point. But it was still a powerful message, I thought, to show how small the Earth is in comparison to the universe. Okay. I'm going to fly us back to the Earth, but we can easily go to any planet that you'd like. So feel free in the chat if you have some place that you would like to go and explore. Let me know. I'm going to show a technique for doing live interactive shows. I call it the sky from scratch. So I'm gonna take us to a place on the planet that some of you might be familiar with, and we're going to show the sky from that location. I'll fly in a little closer.
Like Google Earth.
It's kind of like, yeah, you actually can, we have so many clouds here. I'm trying to find some land. We can actually fly in underneath the cloud layer and get a view. But right now, I want to take us to a particular location. And maybe a little bit different view than we had before.
Kyle, I think somebody's asked for a short recap in Arabic.
Oh, okay.
So
go ahead.
Just hold on a bit. ملخص اللي قاله كايل، أول شيء يتكلم عن ليش نعشق إنه نشتغل في القباب الفلكية. تعليم، توصيل المعلومة. تكلم عن خلفيته إنه هو أصلاً كان صياد احنا سرطان بحر، كان شغله صياد سرطان بحر، بعدين انتقل الى يتبرع في متاحف علميه انه يعلم، ومن هناك بدا يعلم، انه دخل في مجال البلانيتاريومز والقباب الفلكيه وبدا يقدم هناك. فهو يتكلم انه الشخص يعني احنا نشتغل، عندنا لازم واحد يعرف ليش يقدم في القبه الفلكيه، و ليش ايش الرساله اللي حابين نوصلها. وكان يتكلم عن طريقه توصيل هذه الرساله، انه انت وكيف احنا نتعلم عن طريق التعليم. اعتقد ايضا كان يتكلم عن حد يقدر يساعدني، لانه ما قادر اتذكر كل الكلام اللي مر فيه لانه فتره طويله.
وايضا شرح عن البرنامج اللي بيشتغل فيها، وايضا الامكانيات في البرنامج، وايضا القبه الفلكيه مثلا فيه يتحرك، ووقت الشرح ما دام ان هذا البرنامج مبسط وفي ايده، فالشرح للناس اللي جايين عشان يشوفون العروض هذه مبسطه، وايضا انتراكتيف، يعني يقدر يتكلم معهم بنفس الوقت، يقدر يتحكم في البرنامج هذه. وكمل في العرض طبعا. تفضل استاذ حلمي.
ايوه، هو ايضا تكلم عن نفس النقطه. الحين ذكر انه كون التحكم كامل على الايباد، معناته انه ممكن انت تتمشى في القبه وتتحكم في النظام كامل، يا اما عن طريق الايباد او الاكس بوكس كنترولر. ف اعتقد نخلي كايل يكمل، بعدين لو عندكم اسئله محدده نقدر نجاوب سؤال واحد بدل ما نحاول نتذكر العرض كامل يعني.
هو الحقيقة أنا اللي بسأل إذا حد برغب ترجمه، بس لكن لم يشر أحد إلى رغبة. لكن في أي لحظة إذا حد برغب عادي يقاطعنا ونتكلم بينما يعمل كايل في السيميوليشن نفسه. يعني إحنا طبعا نعتذر إنه كان في الترجمة فورية طبيعية بفانكشنز كاملة، لكن للأسف لم تعمل معنا برغم إنه جربناها واشتغلت، بس اليوم خذلتنا كأول مرة. سامحونا يعني، لكن احنا نؤمن بأنه يكون بروفيشنال شغلنا، ترجمة وحدها إنجليزية وعربي منفصلين بالسماعات، باختيار كل شخص يختار اللغة في الأسفل، لكن للأسف إنها لم تنجح. سامحونا في هذه المرة. تفضل. Yes, Kyle, please.
I think I was hearing somebody asking about how I was doing some controls. Is that right, Hilmi?
No, I was just trying to recap everything you said from memory, and it was a bit difficult to catch up with the whole presentation from memory. So I was a bit fragmented.
I understand. Feel free to. Earlier somebody said that everyone is following along, but let me know to slow down, and I can help.
They can catch up. Actually, I misread it. Marwan was offering to translate. It was not somebody requesting.
I was just offering, yes.
Oh, I see.
Helmi thought someone wants Arabic. Actually, your language is very simple, very slow enough for everyone to understand. Thank you very much. Please just continue like this. If anyone wants, أي واحد بده ترجمة بس يوقفنا وإحنا بنترجم، وجاهزين مع الاعتذار الشديد للجميع. أعضاء الجمعية يستحقوا الأفضل، نحن عند الأفضل إن شاء الله، لكن خذلنا يعني الجهاز أو السيستم، سامحونا. شكرا. تفضل كايل please.
Okay. One thing I was showing earlier is there are so many ways of looking at the night sky. Every culture on the planet has looked up and wondered what this all means, where we fit in the sky, in the cosmos. So one thing that I like to do is, with my audience, I will give them a map of the night sky with no labels. And I'll show you what this is. I'll put it up here. Okay, so here is a map of the night sky. And I'm going to speed up time until we have it lined up about right for tonight. So we'll play a little game together. For me, what is important is that people go outside themselves and look at the sky. So in your planetarium, if you give them a tool like a map, they can use this themselves. You teach them in the planetarium how to use the map, and then they can go out. So we're going to play a little game together. In the chat, I would like you to write down your favorite constellations that you can see this time of year, something that you like to go outside and see. Leo, okay, great. Sagittarius, Ursa Major, Cygnus, yes, Cygnus is beautiful directly overhead right now. Okay. And any others that we're going to put in here? Cygnus is a chicken in Arabic, that's great. Okay. And Aquila the eagle, great. So what I'm going to do is I've only highlighted the constellations that you mentioned, the ones that you know. And so I've got some of them listed here. And imagine that nobody ever told you that this group of stars right here was supposed to be a half man, half horse. I mean, this does not look like a half man, half horse with an arrow. If you were going outside for the very first time and you saw this, what would it look like to you? What would you imagine it to be? And go ahead and write that in the chat.
Teapot.
A teapot,
Like
yes,
teapot.
yeah. I sometimes, one of my first things that I love doing is talking about this being the teapot. And I made up a story about how the teapot was left on the oven, and it boiled off, and you can see the steam boiling into space, which of course is our Milky Way band. Yeah. Actually, let's follow up the Milky Way. And we've got a couple of constellations that look kind of similar to each other. What might this one be to you? What does this look like? To cook Cygnus. You know what? I'm going to, a tent. Somebody said a tent. A praying mantis. Oh, I like that. Yeah, yeah. The point is, have your audience explore these and make a connection themselves. So when they go outside at night, maybe they'll see the praying mantis. And when you put up your map that you gave them, on that map, we have different grid lines. So you can show how far away from the horizon it is, and also where along the horizon it is. So that praying mantis, we might say it's about, say about 220 degrees along the horizon, and maybe about 50 degrees above the horizon. I'm sure you all know this, but I love getting the audience involved in doing something physical. So if you stick your fist out, your fist is about 10 degrees. So they can count with their fist, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, a right angle. They can use their body at night to find the praying mantis for themselves. I'll pause and see if anyone has questions about what I said. If anyone needs translation. Depends on what mushrooms you have in your tea.
I always used to, I'll supplement to said, I used to remind the audience that when people used to imagine these things, this was their television, this was their Instagram.
Yes.
This was their PlayStation or whatever it is that people do. It was before books were invented.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's not just a way of finding your place, but it's also a way of storing your stories. Let's zoom in here to Cygnus. And somebody made a comment earlier about cooking Cygnus. Another thing that you could show people is there is light beyond what our eyes can see. So we could show Cygnus in different wavelengths of light. So this is with H alpha or gamma ray. We can even zoom in closer and see telescopic images of Cygnus. I'm going to make our digitized sky survey a little more present, and we can zoom in and look at the sky. So there's the stories that we imagine, and that I think of as the gateway. It's a way to get people to go outside and feel like they can find their own place in the universe. And once they can see and start to map the sky, then you can take them in deeper. You can show them the things that they could see through telescopes and the mysteries that we have to explore. This is the North American nebula, and I have a little map here of North America to see if it kind of lines up. It's similar. It's similar. How we see our cosmos is important. I'm gonna, oh, I should also honor, somebody did say the Big Dipper. Something I like to do is put on a time-lapse feature. And so as I speed up time, we can watch the Earth rotate, and we can see that the two stars of the Big Dipper are always pointing to our North Star. And this again is something that you don't notice unless you have enough patience to sit outside, and you will see that as the Earth is rotating, the patterns that we've made up change. So patterns change with time. I'm going to fly away from our Earth now. And how you and I experience time is we're stuck on one place. As the Earth rotates, we have the illusion that things move around us. Since I'm here in Egypt and Dr. Omar's there, I thought I would just take a little moment to fly back up the Nile in honor of him and his work. So I'll fly down here. You can see the Nile Delta.
Flat Earth.
Flat Earth. Yeah, who knew that in 2020, 2021, we would be having to tell people that the Earth is not flat. This is something that was recognized thousands of years ago in Egypt, forgotten for a while, maybe. But,
it's not just people with associations and communities that we have to convince them that the Earth is not flat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why the work that we do.
Sorry, Kyle, can I interrupt?
Yes, please.
Now, I'm not sure if I am the only one who can see the ability for translation now at the bottom. Who can see that? There is interpretation at the bottom.
Yes, I can see it now.
Yes, I'm not sure why it's working right now only. So Ahmed, can you see that? You can maybe now you can do as you can act as a translator. So I can see it right now only. I don't know why. Okay. If you can test myself, I have chosen Arabic to listen to you. I can see. يعني في الأسفل
بين مروان بين
في الأسفل في زي كرة أرضية مع الوايرز لاتيتيود لونجيتيود، تحت عند الشير سكرين على اليمين تحت شوفوها، وتختاروا الترجمة، بيختاروا بالعربية اللي بيحبوا العربي. أنا سأجرب الآن، وأحمد please do that. Can you just say something, Ahmed, so we can listen? If you have
the option I have right now is English, which I don't have the Arabic option in my list.
مروان هو اللي ماسك الموبايل من مور نطالع عنده الإنجليش والعربي.
أوكي جيد. بس نشوف الآن الأخ أحمد بيقدر الآن يفتح المايك ويحكي عربي فقط بحيث نسمعه اللي بنحكي عربي. يعني بنتركها، اللي بده إنجليزي ما يعمل شيء، بده إنجليزي ما يعمل شيء، يبقى كما هو. اللي بده عربي بدوس بروح عليها لإنتربريتيشن وبشوف بيختار العربية. وأحمد جرب عملنا أي شيء نسمعك.
هو كايل لغته جميلة يعني، خلينا
نعم إحنا بس لا مشان نتأكد إن إحنا ضمننا عملنا العربي ونجح.
على الموبايل شغالة كمان. أنا شغال
يعني كايل حظنا جيد، كايل ممتاز، excellent in simple language, but maybe in the future we organize for people that will say something, speak very difficult English maybe. So let's just make sure we can do it right. Ahmed, have you cast that or not yet?
السلام عليكم، هذه تجربة نجرب الصوت مع اللغة العربية.
ممتاز، سامعينك.
For English بدنا لا لحظة، الإنجليش ما بدنا يسمعك. يعني أنا بس ما أتكلم أنا أختار إنجليش الآن.
ألو can you hear me?
لا أنا سامعك، المفروض ما أسمعك إنجليش. I should not hear you in English.
I have
يعني you choose the Arabic, you choose as translator.
المفروض يسمعوك العربي
بس نعم. You choose.
أنا ما عندي عربي كاختيار، أنا عندي off English و mute original audio. That's all I have.
Off English.
Off number 1, number 2 is English, number 3 is mute original audio. That's all.
والله تست واحدة I don't know because this first time. Test one by
number 1 is off.
ضلك تتكلم عربي واختار إلى أن أبطل أسمعك أنا.
لا عملت off. Interpretation is off. الاختيار الثاني عندي English.
يلا روح احكي عربي.
اخترت English وهلا بحكي بالإنجليش. اخترت الاختيار الإنجليش. واختيار الثالث عندي mute original audio.
Okay. Speak.
هلا عملت mute original audio.
And we can still listen to you. Maybe we need more learning on this one. Sorry, Kyle. So just continue. Sorry. I was happy because I saw it the first time. I want just to check. Okay, الأودينس تفضلوا معي سامحونا، وراح إن شاء الله المرة القادمة نكون عملناها بشكل الصحيح. مع إنه جربتها أنا وزبطت، بس اليوم عاد في مشكلة. Please.
معلش global language مش مشكلة.
That's what we should do. Is we need to have a new language that's not English, not Arabic.
Yeah.
Maybe we should all speak in Kiswahili.
What? Excuse me?
Maybe we should all speak in Swahili.
No, I don't think we. Maybe Helmi only. Maybe
Helmi can do that.
Maybe Helmi only. سواحيلي لغة شرق إفريقيا، يعني سواحيلي. العمانيين بتقنوها فقط بتقنوها العمانيين. تنزانيا يعني تقريبا. Yes, please.
تنزانيا، كينيا، بوروندي.
Yes.
Well, so the illusion that everything goes around us is something we experience, but here we can show the Earth rotating and that cycle of daytime and nighttime, which is one way that we measure time. What are some other ways that we measure time? Well, one is, and I believe in I have a question for you. In Swahili, the word for moon and the word for month is the same word. Is that true in Arabic as well?
No.
No. Okay.
That's no. Some people claim yes. Shahr and Qamar. Some people say when you say Shahr means Qamar again. If you say sometimes Qamar means also Shahr again, which is month. Month is Shahr. Qamar is moon, of course. So some people claim that is possible in some cases. And also, if we say Hilal, you actually mean the month. Just like some people in Arab countries, when they say Jum'ah is Friday. But once you say Jum'ah, it means a week actually. Yes, the whole week. So something like this is taking place in some cultures. Yes.
I see. Okay. So we use things in space to show us time that's useful for us. So, a month is about the time it takes the moon to go through its phases. And of course, in your culture, I really love the idea that it's actually based on the observation that you make. It is, go ahead, Hilmi, you were going to say something.
I'm adding to your point. Do you know that technically the Arabic day starts at sunset? Mm-hmm. So you can see when the new day starts. As the sun sets, it's a new day.
It's a new day. It's a new day. And I love that aspect of observing and not just believing the calendar, the human-made thing. So we're going to fly away from our Earth and the orbit that the Earth has around the sun, which of course is 1 year of time. And we're going to go out really far. I've got some different ways that we can track how far away we're going. One is astronomical units. So each of these lines is the average distance of the sun to the Earth. So we can see how far away we're going out into space now. When we get to this 10 astronomical units, then every line is going to be 10 astronomical units from here on out. And let me just grab a couple of constellations that we were looking at earlier. We looked at Leo, we looked at Cygnus, we looked at Aquila. As we fly out even farther, we're now going to switch to a different kind of reference. We're going to look at light years. So the first circle here is 1 light year. And then every concentric ring is another light year. And now you can start seeing something unusual. As we fly farther and farther away from our Earth, I'll circle our solar system here. You can start seeing which stars are closer to us. So those constellation lines change based on where we are, but they also change based on when we are. So I'm going to fly back here and speed up time really fast. I'm going to put on a marker here. I don't know if you'll be able to read this, but you can see how fast time is going. I'm going to speed it up. Right now, every second is a day, and we don't see any change. Every second is a month. So right now, the moon is going around the Earth once a second. No change. Every second is a year. The Earth is going around the sun once a year, once a second here. Every second is 100 years, so human beings' lifespan. And when we get up to every second being about 1,000 years or 10,000 years, you can see the stars themselves are also moving. And I sometimes put on the that time-lapse feature to kind of highlight this.
Different shapes.
Yeah. So when we're looking at the constellations, the stories that we make up, it's specific to where we are, but also when we are in space. And maybe I should pause for a second and see if everybody is following along with that. So if you have a question, put it in the chat. Ah, hi, hi, good to see you. Miriam, is that you? Thank you for your greeting in the chat. It's nice to see you. This is a model that we have of our galaxy. And when I first worked in a planetarium, I had the hardest time trying to explain what that Milky Way band that we saw was. But now we can go in and out and show our relationship to our galaxy. And we can go out farther, but I've been talking a lot. I'd like to turn it back over to you and let you ask me questions or things that you want to see, things that you want to explore. What if the audience not understand the basic astronomy information? Omar, that is the crux of the question. What I'm doing with you, because I know all of you are, you know this information. It's important to be able to communicate with your audience to make sure that they understand. The worst thing is to give them a misconception. So if you just play a movie, they have no chance to ask a question. Your movie will never ask them a question. So when you're doing a live interactive show, make sure you ask your audience, does this make sense? Have them maybe do something physical to help demonstrate. That's a great question. Omar, what do you do if your audience doesn't understand?
Okay, I'll take it very simply and take it from the sunset and make a journey to the first object bright in the sky. And what do you think is a star or the planet? And what's the difference between the star and the planet? I'll take my audience from the scratch, as you see, to until I take them to the edge of the Milky Way. And they, after finishing the live shows, it will not leave, not need to leave the planetarium. About it needs more and more when understanding the constellations and like the situation of the sky.
Yeah, that's terrific. And so with our systems, it's really easy to do a live interactive experience, just like you were talking about, Dr. Omar. So what I've done is we've moved to tonight's sky. And people can argue about whether the things they see in the sky are the stars or if they are planets. And we can talk about that. So it's really good to make sure that you go slowly with your audience and make sure that they are following along and understanding.
Yeah.
Let's see. Does anyone have other questions or things that you want to see?
Do you have the Kuiper belt option?
Yeah.
With the time lapse, it would be nice to see that.
Okay. Yeah, we can. Well, what we do for ours, we fly away from the Earth here. So we do some of our visualizations different than others. So our Kuiper belt, we are keeping the Kuiper belt as a Let me fly out here and let you see. So you can see this blue line here. So we're indicating where Kuiper belt objects are. We also have an indicator of where you'd find asteroids. Now the asteroids we actually have populated with physical objects. So I'm going to fly back here to the asteroid belt, and I'm going to turn on our script that loads the asteroids. So you can do it a number of ways. I like starting out with loading some of the asteroids that we used to call planets. I'll fly away from the Earth here again and give you a visual. So we can add Juno and Pallas and Vesta. We'll fly here away from the Earth. Show Juno, Pallas, and Vesta within the asteroid belt. And then if we want to add more, we can load the 100 other asteroids. And so these are going to be in proper location within the asteroid belt. When you run updates with our software, the positions of these asteroids are also updated as we get more information. So another way that we could do this, you said that you wanted to see it with the time lapse. So let me get rid of the body orbit lines.
Yes.
And then, yeah, we could put on time lapse and speed up time.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Something that's unique to us too, another visualization is human beings have sent something out into space that's traveling far faster than any physical object that we've sent, and that is light, our radio waves. So we have a radiosphere, and this is unique to Digitalis. So as we fly out, other softwares have radiospheres, but ours is actually tied to time. So if we fly to a star, somebody mentioned Vega earlier, so we'll just fly to Vega. We can see that Vega is within the radiosphere. So if there were planets that were orbiting around the star Vega, and there was life on those planets, and those planets happened to be tuned into our radio frequency, they would be able to hear radio waves from the Earth. But there's a point, let's see, how about I fly to a farther away star like Betelgeuse? We'll fly there. There are star systems that are beyond our radio waves so far. So look back and show you our radiosphere. And as we speed up time, we can watch the radiosphere growing. So this is the year 2200. So you can see how the radiosphere is expanding continuously into space. You can think of this as light pollution from the Earth going out into the cosmos. And you can show where our radio signals would get to. Now, of course, if they were tuned in here, they would only hear, the radio signals from the 1920s or 1930s. So it would take a long time for them to get, modern radio and hear what we're talking about these days. That's a great question. Let me see if there's other, is there ability to let the audience control the show themselves? Absolutely. I love doing this because let me fly to Mars. And I'll shut off the radiosphere. We can control everything from anywhere that you want in the planetarium using using an iPad, but we also have a gamepad. And so sometimes what I'll do is literally hand this over to a child, and that kid, she'll probably fly better than I do. So I can hand this to a student and say, okay, I want you to fly into Mars and explore. And so maybe they'll fly down, and maybe they'll pick a crater to go fly into.
Simulated driving.
Yeah, exactly. The more that we can get the audience to feel that they are the ones who are driving their learning, that they are the ones who are deciding what we study, what we focus on, the more powerful the experience will be. Now, we're talking about value earlier. One value I noticed that nobody said they became a planetarian because they want to get rich. But one other hidden value of doing live planetarium shows is it's different every single time. Your audience can come back every single show and have a different experience because it's based on what they are interested in. And for a museum, that has an economic value because they're coming back and paying to come to your museum over and over. But educationally, it has an amazing value because your audience can grow with you and you can grow with them. You can learn what they are interested in. That was a great question. Thank you. I answered more than what you were asking about, but let's see. Anything else? Any other questions? These are great. Oh, if the audiences are students, then we should talk to their teacher to know their level. Yes, I'm not sure how it is in different countries, but I'm assuming that there are grade level expectations, things that by this age, the student should know this thing. And when I taught in the great state of Texas here in the US, there were certain things that I was supposed to teach the students, but those things actually were wrong. So I'll give you an example. I'm going to put on the body orbit line here. In the state curriculum, we're supposed to teach the students that the moon orbits the Earth counterclockwise. So here you can see, here is the Earth rotating once a day. We've sped it up, of course. And the moon is revolving around the Earth. I'll put the label on so you can see it a little bit easier. And it sure looks counterclockwise. But then I told them, if we were looking at the Earth from the southern hemisphere, it would look like it's clockwise. So for the test, answer counterclockwise, but know that you are smarter than the people who wrote the test. So it is important. It is important to know what we're supposed to teach them, but make it in a way that the audience feels they are part of the learning process. Great question. The handicapped persons can drive by themselves to more understand how things are going on. Yeah, it is incredibly important to be inclusive. We want everybody to have an understanding of the sky. I like to have physical objects in the dome as well. Maybe an earth ball or toys or things that students who might not be so visual can touch. There are books, astronomy books in Braille, where students can touch and feel structures of different objects. So yeah, being inclusive, finding ways to incorporate everybody, that's very good. Thank you for bringing that up. Oh yeah, I like to integrate Planetarium show with other sciences, like they learn, yeah. Here's an example of that. When we look at our Earth model, we have a data set that just shows clouds, and I can toggle that data set off and on. But we also have other types of data sets that you can add to objects, such as the Earth. You probably can't read this, but I'll kind of show you. Let me turn off the static cloud layer. We have a library of data sets that we include. And maybe we want to look at plate tectonics. So we can add data of, let's pick the volcano locations on the Earth. And we can show the data set here. So we can move around the Earth and show the location of volcanoes. Or we could add where earthquakes happen, showing the location of earthquakes on the Earth. Or we can show plate tectonics. There's so many different things that you can do with the system that's beyond astronomy.
Geological subjects.
Geological formations, exactly right, exactly right. My favorite one that we just recently added was weather. Let me shut off this one. And this gives you up to the hour weather on the Earth. So here's clouds over the last 7 days. And I'm going to show the data set in play. And let me fly down. I don't know if this has made news in your part of the world, but there's a huge hurricane that, let me change our view here. Hurricane that is over one of our cities, over New Orleans. So here you can show the hurricane storm on the Earth. So you could use your planetarium to explore so many things beyond astronomy. And again, I love the idea of being live and interactive. What you ask your audience, what do you notice? What direction are those storm clouds moving? How would you simulate traveling from the Earth to outer space? Something close to a real rocket launch where the audience can see buildings and the cities zooming out. I like to do it this way. So I'm gonna lock in place here over New Orleans and speed up time so that it's light here. And I can fly down. So you can see this data set that's paged in. This gives us topographic data of the Earth. And if we fly down like this, we can actually see farmland. I probably should have picked a place that has some topography. I picked one of the flattest places in America right here. But you can fly from the Earth and show as you're going higher, you notice how the atmosphere changes. So you can talk about that thin blue line of our biosphere, and then is extinguished as we fly away. Let me see if I can find a different part of. I'll fly up to where I live. We were talking about volcanoes earlier, so I'll come up here to the northwest corner of the United States, and I'll show you where I live.
What can you translate the question, please?
Oh, somebody's going to translate? Okay.
السؤال بيقول كيف نقدر نقلع أنفسنا من مكان معين وفي هذا
No. There is a question in Arabic. Just translate it into English, please.
Okay. Searching for the question in Arabic.
Maybe that was just to you, Marwan. I don't see it on the chat list.
I think it was by mistake sent to me only. Yahya, please send it to all. Yahya. Okay, I will send it to all.
نعم. Okay.
It was by mistake sent to me directly. Now I have shared it to everyone. Please.
Okay. The question is there an open source database that can be used in other planetariums?
Is there an open source database that can be used in other planetariums? Yeah, well, a lot of the data that we use is from data sources that are open. A lot of the data we get from, especially from NASA. Where we add the value to it is we spend the time to put it together in a format that can be used easily in the planetarium. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question exactly. Are you asking if it's possible to add other data to our system?
No, the question is if it's available for usage.
So yeah, a lot of the data that we use, you can also get directly from the primary sources. So like for instance, this data that I'm showing right here is the National Agricultural and NAIP. Trying to remember what it stands for. It's data that's photographic data over certain parts of the US. And it's many terabytes of data. What we've done is took the free data and processed it so that we can put it into the planetarium. And you could do that yourself, but it would take you a very, very long time to be able to accomplish what we've done.
And so much computing devices, obviously.
And yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Can I translate the answer?
Yes, please.
الإجابة أستاذ كايل يقول إن المعلومات هذه والبيانات موجودة في سيرفرات كثيرة بالذات الناسا مثلا أو الأقمار الصناعية اللي صورت الصور هذه، وفي كل ناحية من البيانات هذه أنواع مثل النوع اللي ذكرها الزراعة agriculture، فموجود البيانات تبعه وهم بياخذوها من يعني تيرابايتس، يعني كثير البيانات موجودة، هم بياخذوها بيحللوها وبعدين بيحطوها كلاير كطابق على الأرض وبيستخدموها في الأجهزة. فبيحكي إن البيانات هذه موجودة عالميا، وبس يعني لازم يكون شانل معين، قناة معينة عشان ناخذها ونحللها عشان يضبط السوفت وير نشتغل عليه في القبة الفلكية المحدودة تبعنا المعينة. هذه الفكرة حسب السوفت وير، حسب البرنامج اللي نستخدمها نقدر ناخذ البيانات ونحولها على صورة وفي we can use يعني استخدامها. Thank you.
And I'd also like to point out that our company president, Rob Spearman, was one of the developers of the open source software Stellarium. So we do support and think that open source software is very important to have. Yeah. I flew us to one of the volumetric models that we have. This is the Cat's Eye Nebula, and we can look at it from any direction.
Yes.
And even fly inside. Okay, any other questions? Let me see if there's... Fatima, it was great for you to be here. The format of 3D models that are supported. In our next release, we're adding a lot more ability to add your own 3D models. Currently, OBJ format works right out of the box. We're adding some more capabilities soon. This is another thing I forgot to mention earlier. as we develop new features in Nightshade, our customers can update their systems for free. So you don't have to keep buying a new version of Nightshade every year. Once you're one of our customers, we want you to be with us in our community for life. So you have free software updates for the entire life of your system. And somebody asked about Stellarium. So I'll tell you a little history. I don't know if this translates well, but when Digitalis first started, we used Stellarium. That was our software. So our original software was Stellarium. When Rob would make features that were built for the Planetarium world, somebody else would make a feature that would break his. So he branched off and made a new version called Nightshade. In 2012, he rewrote the software from the ground up. So it has some similarities to Nightshade. So if you're familiar with Nightshade, you can easily move into our software, but they're completely different now. They're okay. And he only said that you can add other 3D models. And let me see if I've got an example of a 3D model here.
While you're bringing that up, Kyle, in the group, if you remember, in the WhatsApp group a few days ago, I posted the Prague Planetarium. They were 3D printing models of the space shuttle and the rockets, if you remember. So imagine you'd use the same model you're using for 3D printing, and you would also load it into the Planetarium. And you can have a physical model which you present to the audience, and you have the same model projected on the screen of the Planetarium.
Yeah, that's true. We can do that. I'm looking to see if I've got a model. Okay, let me run this test. It's always good to run a test in a live show and hope it works. So I'm going to load a number of 3D models and we can explore. So these are going to be OBJ formatted, and let's see here. So in this case, what I've done is I've added them as a model. Let's see. Let's see if this works. Okay. So this is an example of a 3D model. So the same thing that you would use for 3D printing. And I've added a couple of dinosaurs in space. And I'm moving around the model here live using the Xbox controller, the gamepad controller. So that's an example of adding a 3D model. You can put the model in a particular place in space, and let's see. So that opens up a lot of other possibilities for how you can use your system. It's also possible to completely turn the stars off if you wish, and that way you don't have the stars in the background, or you don't have the Milky Way model. And so here we have an example of a human skull. So maybe you want to do a class on physiology. So you can add your own 3D models quite easily. Okay. Oh, you're very welcome. Maybe I just for my own curiosity, could everyone type in the chat what country you're from? I'd love to see who all is joining us here today. Iraq, Jordan, Egypt, Syria, Morocco, UAE. So you said 3D model for the constellations. I showed that a little bit earlier, but do you have a particular constellation that you want to look at the 3D model of? Iran. I like Alexandria, Egypt. I'm just going to pick let me pick Orion.
Planet Earth. We are all from planet Earth.
Oh yes, we're all from planet Earth. That's right. When you look back at our planet, there are no borders. We have
Martian guests.
Yeah. One thing the pandemic has taught us is we are all connected. We're all connected. So somebody asked if I can show a 3D model of the constellation. So I chose Orion. We'll fly away from our solar system.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now, as we get farther away, you can see which stars are closer to the Earth. So this is a way of showing a 3D model of the constellation. We also have 3D models, I mentioned this earlier, of our entire galaxy. So this is a 3D model of the Milky Way. And we've just added 3D models of local group objects. So many of you have looked at the Small Magellanic Cloud through a telescope. I'm going to show you our new model. I don't know how many times I've looked at the Small Magellanic Cloud through a telescope and it looks, well, just like the name says, a cloud. We worked with some astrophysicists in Germany to create a volumetric model. So now we're going to actually fly to the Small Magellanic Cloud. And then we can see that when we fly around it, the gravity of the Milky Way has stretched it out. So it looks kind of like, to me, it looks kind of like a worm. So we've added volumetric models for many of the local group galaxies. Here's all of the galaxies that we've added in our area. We've also added the Sloan Digital Sky Survey. So we can show the galaxy points here. And as we fly away, you can see the distribution of the galaxies in this data set. Now, I've seen movies of this, but what's nice is you can do this really slowly with your audience to make sure that they understand. And we can go all the way out to the cosmic microwave background radiation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And yeah, Hilary points out, of course, most of you like me are in the Northern Hemisphere. I travel quite a bit to Kenya, and it's funny how perspectives change. I'm from the west coast of the United States, and Kenya, the ocean is on the east, and the moon looks like it's in the north. And Orion, to me, looked like he was standing on his head. So it's kind of funny how our perspectives change, and that's what we do. We change people's perspectives. We give them a cosmic perspective that is maybe different. Maybe we change the way they see their place in the entire universe, and that's a really important job.
Yeah.
I'll take us back home. I hope everybody enjoyed this. Did you? I hope you enjoyed this and have some value out of this. I'd also like to show you, every year we have a symposium called Live Interactive Planetarium Symposium. And in English, the acronym is LIPS, because you can't have a live show without LIPS. That's funny in English anyway. This is our 11th year. And because of the pandemic, this year it is going to be online and free. So please register. It's later this month. It's the 21st through the 24th. I realize the time zone might not work well for you, except for Hilmi, who's always up at 3 in the morning outside with his telescopes. I highly encourage you to join this conference. I would love it if you can. And in the future, think about ways of connecting Arabic planetariums who want to do live shows and do more than just movies. Work together. We do more when we work together than anything that we can try to do on our own.
As a workshop, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Omar asked about the music in the background of live shows. I don't have my speakers hooked up, but we actually have soundscapes. So you can choose from different background music. And as you're flying around, the music actually changes with your position. So that's pretty cool. I apologize just for being on Zoom. I disconnected my audio and I just don't have that set up currently. So sorry about that. And Dr. Fikret, did I miss a question of yours? You said, go ahead and unmute if you want to ask.
That for the background music. Are you using the music in background when you narrate or you introduce your live show?
Yes, when I don't have it right here now, but in my planetarium, I do have background music. We have that built into our control system. You can control how loud the background music is. And this is a different slider than if you have movie media or other types of media. So you can independently control these. There's even, if you have it up so the audience just hears the background music, when you talk, you can hit the talk button and it automatically drops the background music in half. I'm sorry, I apologize that I don't have that connected today, because that's a fun feature where you have the background music as you're talking in your planetarium voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is what we usually use in our planetarium.
Mm-hmm.
But there is
Lots of music, yes. Oh,
there is no
very
voice
rich.
in the space.
Excellent, Kyle. Myself, I liked what you have showed indeed. Have you finished? Let's ask if there are any questions, extra questions.
Any other
Let's talk now in general, not specific questions about the techniques. If there is something beyond that, the digitalis, what digitalis is, what best solutions can be fit in your planetarium, if this size is, you know, different views. I believe different planetarium sizes there, because what we have now today is a specialist in working in a special company that provides solutions for planetariums. So if you'd like to ask Kyle any question on that, for mobile planetariums, fixed planetariums, projection systems, whatever, please, you can. Let's say we have 10 minutes more for such like
Sure.
this before we say thank you, because now it is almost midnight. We're close to midnight in my place. Yeah, some places is a better situation. Okay, any questions? بالعربي حتى ممكن تسأل.
And also, if you'd like to contact me, if you have a specific need, feel free to email me, and I can connect with you online and specifically work for your solutions, what you need. Hilmi is in Oman. He's our distributor. His Arabic is much better than mine, and honestly, his English is also better than mine. Speaking of which, he is helping us with translation. So you've already seen that we have Sky translation into Arabic. We are also adding Arabic translation for the control software for the Universal Console. So he's been helping us with that. Do you want to say anything about that directly?
Yes, what we've done is we've got a full-time professional astronomer. He normally does asteroid research, but for fun, he's come and volunteered some time to work with us. So he's working on translating the entire user interface, all the buttons, all the controls, everything in Arabic. So we've finished the first draft right now. I think this is better said in Arabic. جبنا فلكي حقيقي، يعني وظيفته رجال يشتغل فلكي في مرصد.
شو يعني جبنا مين احنا؟ سوري.
احنا كشركة تقنية فلكية.
قول انت مين؟ ايوه.
للتجارة. سي جبنا فلكي وشغال معانا الحين شهرين تقريبا، وجالسين نعرب البرنامج كامل حتى الأزرار في لوحة التحكم. الفكرة إنه حتى لو عندكم جبتوا شخص غير ملم أبداً باللغة الإنجليزية يقدر يشغل الجهاز كامل باللغة العربية. فإحنا خلصنا ترجمة كل الأزرار في البرنامج، بس لازم نراجع لأنه يمكن في أشياء سوء تفاهم إحنا فهمناها غلط ويكون في أخطاء في الترجمة. بس قبل ما نحملها في البرنامج راح يكون في تجربة أول ونجربها على جمهور محدود أول، نتأكد إنه ما في أخطاء، وراح ينزل يكون البرنامج معرب بالكامل.
احنا كجمعية ممكن مستعدين ندعم جمعية البلانيتاريومز قباب الفلكية العربية، فنكون سعيدين إذا
وانا ممكن اشتغل معكم في المراجعة اللغة العربية.
ما انت معنا في الجمعية، ما انت معنا في الجمعية.
على فكرة أنا فلكي، يعني كلمة جبنة فلكي حلمي جبنة فلكي دي كلمة زعلني شوية، بس أنا ممكن تبي جبنة ميكانيكي، جبنة كهربائي يعني.
لا أنا ليش
أخصائي فضاء، جبنة أخصائي فضاء.
استعنا
لا أنا ليش أقول كذا؟ لأنه أنا ما دارس فلك
معك
أنا ليش ذكرت النقطة؟ لأن أنا ما دارس فلك، أنا دارس IT. فلو انا جيت اترجم راح يكون في اخطاء.
لا صح، انت معك حق فعلا.
ايوه، فانا قصدي انه احنا جبنا شخص خبير في المجال انه تفاديا للخطا.
نحترم ذلك اكيد كجمعيه،
طبعا اكيد
ونرغب ايضا انه احنا نكون ايضا معكم، لانه احنا هو فلكي طبعا اكيد ومحترم وممتاز، لكن احنا planetarians يعني، فبنعرف انه this button what should do يعني، وهذا ماذا يعني. فمش بس انه استرونومر، كمان planetarians.
هنا المعضله انه
APS مستعدين نحن we offer يعني as APS to help يعني، احنا we offer this we are planetarians and astronomers. عمر معنا في التنتين يعني، انت فلكي ومثلنا يعني كل المجموعه، فمستعدين اذا بتحبوا خدمتنا لانه احنا بهمنا هذا الشيء، بهمنا تتطور انتم كشركه عربيه وتقدموا السوليوشنز هاي، بهمنا جدا. يعني انا ليش انا وجهت في النهايه نحو الشركه البزنس؟ انا بهتم بالبزنس. اذا لم يتطور البزنس البلانيتيريومز عربيا نبقى بعيدين عن النجاح. لازم يصير في بزنس حقيقي وشركات تربح مثل حضراتكم، يعني اخ حلمي هذه الفيجوال اتراكشنز واخرين. احنا بدنا تنجحوا، بهمنا تنجحوا يعني كشركات عربيه، بهمنا تنجحوا. فاتمنى لك التوفيق وندعمكم طبعا
ان شاء الله. هو على فكره يعني احنا موضوع الترجمه هذا ما مسوينه لكسب مادي، احنا ما نكسب فلوس منه، بس هو اكثر شيء لدعم المجتمع الفلكي في الدول العربيه. انه دائما في شكاوي انه البرامج غير معربه او في برامج محدوده اللي هي معربه، وهذا شيء نفتقر اليه.
احسنتم، هذا مكسب لكم انتم وديجيتالس، يكون في شيء عربي مكسب، واحنا ممكن ندعم. واي اخر كمان عندهم شيء برضه بندعم، نحن ندعم الجميع. ABS للجميع يعني ان شاء الله. اي توجه في بلانتيريومز نحو التطوير فبندعم، وان كان بزنس، وهذا العكس بهمنا اكثر حتى. شكرا اخي حلمي. Yes, sorry, Kyle, we maybe went more Arabic, but that is important. Yes. If there is no questions, extra questions, I think it's also good offer from Kyle to send him, the contact email and the also the website maybe for Digitalis. Also, Helmi, he can also offer his contact on the chat. Also, you can put that in the chat.
Excuse me, the invitation for the conference?
For the LEPS.
For LEPS, yes. I will put that in the chat again.
Yes, please do that. I like the LEPS. Okay. If there is one word to focus on today, myself, from my point of view, or from my perspective, is perspective. So perspective, I think, let's focus on this point today, this word today. Let's learn from this word. I know everyone knows what that means. يعني المنظور، الرؤية بيختلف من مجتمع لمجتمع، من مكان لمكان، تغير constellation من زمان لزمان، بتغير رؤية الناس للموضوع. الموضوع الواحد له أكثر من perspective أو من منظور. فخلينا اليوم إحنا كدرس إنه يعني ل ABS إنه المنظور perspective بكل أبعاد الفلكية والعلمية والثقافية والفلسفية والدينية. نأخذ هذه الكلمة نركز عليها في عروضنا في القباب الفلكية العربية، كيف الكونستليشن تختلف في البرسبكتيف الزماني أو المكاني. إذا رحنا مكان آخر في يعني بعيد عن السولار سيستم راح تختلف، وهذا شفناه كنا، وهذا بنعمله سيميوليشن احنا في البلانتيريوم تبعنا، واخرين بيعملوه اكيد، بس جيد انه نعمل مثل هاي الاستضافات عشان نتذكرها. فبرسبكتيف is our today's word يعني Kyle or Kayo as perspective from other point of view as well. I like this even for labs, for the program, the labs. You said the labs is beautiful because we cannot do this, the labs program without the labs. From other perspective in Arabic, labs means dress, so we cannot do it without dress. Another perspective for the word. Labs as well, which is dress. We cannot do anything without that. So, another perspective. Thank you very much, Kyle, indeed, for being with us this morning from your perspective, a point of view from America, night time from ours here. I'd like to thank everyone here who joined us this beautiful, extremely beautiful presentation from Digitalis, represented by Kyle and Helmi. Helmi, we will have you here someday. Okay, be prepared for this, for a full presentation, inshallah, بالعربي طبعا. And I would
صورة
like to
جماعية.
translate. Yes, we need a group picture. كنا صورة جماعية. Please يا ريت كنا نحضر صورة جماعية بوجوهنا عشان نشوف البرسبكتيف في الجميع كيف واضح. كنا okay. Can you stop sharing so we can see us, all of us?
One thing just before, if you wear a green shirt, you're talking about we cannot do this with dress.
Okay. I thought you want to make some show. Dressless show. Okay.
Okay.
Let's in English. Okay, my friend. So خلينا نعمل صورة جماعية هون. نعمل gallery group. بشكركم جميعا. ناخذ صورة هيك مبتسمين كلنا مع بعض. جميلة.
21 persons.
اوكي اخذنا واحدة كل عيون فتحة. خلينا let me just remind that now I can see everyone. I can see from Syria, Turkey, Jbur from Syria. Just wave to us. I'll open your like. Also Alexander, who represents Syria and Japan in the same time, maybe Russia as well sometimes. Yeah. Mona Ambar from Kuwait. Mona, wave to us, please, Mona. Yes, you can open the mic if you wish to say something. Ayman Nairat from Jordan, from Wadi Rum. He has a very beautiful picture with his inflatable dome in Wadi Rum in Jordan, just beside Petra. Dr. Ayman, welcome. عندنا كمان محمد علي. From where محمد علي? ما في صوت، افتح الصوت. Okay.
From Alexandria, Egypt.
اهلا وسهلا من مصر، من ايجيبت. دكتوره زينب، اتمنى اذا الامور واضحه جيد، او على الاقل تفتح المايك تقولي لنا مرحبا. دكتوره زينب من الكويت ايضا. دكتوره فاطمه بله من سوريا ايضا. ونبيله شريقي او شرقاوي من Morocco. She has a beautiful small dome, very beautiful. They do beautiful actually shows there. مين كمان موجود معنا؟ تفضل.
from Iran.
مهندس مجد أزوار. تفضل دكتورة زينب. Yes, welcome.
شكرا على هذا العرض الرائع والممتع. شكرا لكايل والجميع.
شكرا.
مرة احنا كلش نفرح بهيك لقاءات وهيك معلومات يعني نستفاد من عندها، وايضا نتعرف على علماء ما شاء الله.
شكرا لك. بارك الله فيكي. عندنا زريدي. I cannot just skip زريدي. If you remember, the first one to mention one special word, acting. I love acting. Do you remember that word at the beginning, Kyle? That was Zuraidi, who is always acting as an astronaut for the kids. He's doing a great job with the kids. Indeed, I know how much that effective in his small planetarium. His small planetarium, which is named by him, after him, he's the owner. He is the one who run it. Okay, anyone would like to
مروان
منى تفضلي.
الله يسلمك. أنا حبيت أعرف المحاضر من أي بلانيتاريوم بأمريكا.
Okay, just ask him. From which planetarium? If you
What's the name of your planetarium in America?
Mine that we have is the Pacific Planetarium. I've worked in many planetariums around the world. Actually, I see Dr. Jenny Shipway has joined us. I used to work in her planetarium in England, in Winchester.
I see the axis is too much close to the England, more American. Your axis is.
Yeah, I am American, but I travel so often. My accent has changed so that people can understand me a little bit better.
Yes. It's very nice. We enjoy it really, and a perfect class, really.
Oh, thank you. And I hope this is inspiring. And I would love to come, inshallah, and visit any of you. And I think maybe my value word is learning. I love to learn. And when I travel to other cultures and visit other planetariums, I definitely learn more than I teach. So I look forward to meeting any of you in the future.
We hope that. Sure.
Yeah. And Basma Diab, the one who actually joined maybe the most to participate in this presentation. Basma, wave to us and say something from Jordan.
Well,
yes.
it was a great, invitation. It was a great gathering. Thanks a lot, Kerry, for this nice storytelling. I think it is a nice way to teach. Yes, I said that because I'm a teacher and because we are all astronomers. We were so happy to meet you, and inshallah we will have another meetings with you. Thanks a lot.
Wonderful. Thank you. Shukran.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mami. Now it's now 2 hours, which is really the longest maybe presentation at APS since it was established. Thank you indeed, Kyle or Kayo. Welcome to the APS as a member or friend. You are most welcome. Alexander Adel, you want to say something, Alexander? You know Alexander, of course, he is one of those who actually provide solutions over the world by previously by O'Hara Megastar, and now privately by his own company Sky Vision. Yes, Adel, Alexander.
Yes. Yes, Kyle. Thank you very much. This is very interesting lecture and many very interesting always to hear about Stellarium and the night state and what are you doing, what the functionalities. This is the interactivity is what actually we value much in the planetarium, and this
Why Alexander لابس شتوي
reminding to keep the planetarium interacting with each other.
اوكي شكرا.
شلون؟
اقول لابس صوف انت
مشان ترجمة عربي يعني. الصوت غير واضح؟
لا بتقول لك لابس بردان لابس صوف.
انا هلا بروسيا وعندنا اليوم زمهرير.
اي شوف انا شكلك صراحه يعني خرعتنا الظهر.
حراره 5 درجات مئويه.
راح يجي يعني شتاء بارد الظاهر.
لكن هي ببلاد الشمال
للحين حر.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome to APS, and we hope to see you here.
Thank you.
And in the conferences that the APS will be organizing.
I look forward to it. I want to come and meet you in person and share some tea. So thank you so much.
So let me thank also Helmi for being here. Helmi, inshallah, we'll see you later. As I mentioned in a special presentation. My colleagues, I would like to thank them, Muhammad Atwi, Ahmad, and Amr, who hosted the meeting, but he had to leave. Thank you very much, everyone. And this is one of the great, actually, presentations we APS have. Thank you, Kyle, again, and see you.